वैष्णवेर उच्चिष्टा तारे मोर मन निष्ठा वैष्णवेर उच्चिष्टा ताहे मोर मन निष्ठा वैष्णवेर नाम उल्लास वृंदावन चरितारा ताहे मोर मन घेरा कहे दीना नरोत्तम दास धन मोर नित्यानंद मोर गौरचंद्र प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर जय नित्यानंद राम जय नित्यानंद राम नित्यानंद राम जय नित्यानंद राम निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय श्री नित्यानंद राम की
Hare Krishna, for those wonderful melodious bhajans, let us express our gratitude towards Brajesh Krishna Prabhuji, Braj Gopal Prabhuji, Akhil Bandhu Prabhuji and Rohini Nandan Prabhuji by loudly chanting 3 times, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. We'll now have our Sunday Feast Bhagavatam class and today's speaker is His Grace Nand Dulal Prabhu. जिन भक्तों को यह प्रवचन हिंदी में सुनना है उनसे निवेदन है कि कृपया भक्ति वेदांत हॉल में प्रस्थान करें. A humble request to all the devotees to kindly keep their mobile phones on silent mode when the class is on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। Hare Krishna, so we welcome all the devotees to the Sunday morning Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter number 4, titled Vidura approaches Maitreya, and text number 9 for discussion today. So kindly repeat after me. तस्मिन् महाभागवतो द्वैपायन सुहृत्सखा लोकाननुचरन् सिद्ध आससाद यदृच्छया तस्मिन् महाभागवतो द्वैपायन सुहृत्सखा लोकाननुचरन् सिद्ध आससाद यदृच्छया तस्मिन् महाभागवतो द्वैपायन सुहृत्सखा लोकाननुचरन् सिद्ध आससाद यदृच्छया तस्मिन् महाभागवतो द्वैपायन सुहृत्सखा काननुचरन् सिद्ध आससाद यदृच्छया तस्मिन् महाभागवतो आससाद यदृच्छया तस्मिन् महाभागवतो द्वैपायन सुहृत्सखा लोकाननुचरन् सिद्धा आससाद यदृच्छया. Mataji's. तस्मिन् महाभागवतो द्वैपायन सुहृत्सखा लोकाननुचरन् सिद्धा आससाद यदृच्छया. We'll see the word-to-word translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Tasmin, then, Mahabhagavatah, a great devotee of the Lord, Dvaipayana, of Krishna Dvaipayan Vyas, Suhrut, a well-wisher, Sakha, a friend, Lokan, the three worlds, Anucharan, traveling, Siddhe, in that ashram, Asasada, arrived, Yadrichaya, by his own perfect accord. Translation. At that time, after traveling in many parts of the world, Maitreya, a great devotee of the Lord and a friend and well-wisher of the great sage Krishna Dvaipayan Vyas, reached that spot out of his own perfect accord. Purport. Maitreya was one of the disciples of Maharshi Parashar, the father of Vyasdev. Thus, Vyasdev and Maitreya were friends and mutual well-wishers. By some fortunate accident, Maitreya reached the place where Lord Sri Krishna was resting. To meet the Lord is not an ordinary incident. Maitreya was a great sage and a learned scholar philosopher, but not a pure devotee of the Lord. And therefore his meeting with the Lord at that time may have been due to Agyat Sukruti or some unknown devotional service. Pure devotees always engage in pure devotional activities and therefore their meeting with the Lord is natural. But when those who are not up to that standard meet the Lord, it is due to the unforeseen fortune of accidental devotional service. Before beginning, we'll offer our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, we welcome all the devotees and especially the senior devotees. I'm begging blessings from everyone to speak on today's verse and also the most auspicious appearance day of Lord Varaha. So in today's verse, it is mentioned how Maitreya Rishi is somebody who has received kripa from his guru, Parashar Muni. And just like Parashar Muni has blessed his own son and disciple, Srila Vyasdev, similarly he has also blessed Maitreya Muni. But there is a small difference. That Vyasdev is a pure devotee. He is a literary incarnation of the Lord. But the way he has written the scriptures is in keeping with the orders of his guru, Narad Muni. And for Maitreya Muni, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out, his bhakti is called Jnana Mishra Bhakti. He has a small inclination he has some speculative tendencies. Whereas pure devotional services, you repeat what you have heard. You may add your own realizations, but you cannot change the main substance. Whereas people with speculative tendencies sometimes have a desire to add a little bit which may not be of the substance. They don't add the details, but they add to the substance. So this is the difference between Maitreya Muni and Vyasa Rishi. Just the next shloka after this is a very beautiful shloka. In the next shloka it is mentioned that Maitreya, he came there and he's sitting in front of the Lord. And he even has his shoulders in a very submissive form, like when you're submissively listening to somebody and you're sitting like this. You don't sit like this. So it is actually mentioned in the next shloka, Anata Kandharasya, that his shoulders are really in a bent form and he's looking forward for Lord Krishna to instruct him. But at that point of time, Krishna sees Uddhava, his dear devotee. In the 11th canto, Lord Krishna has described Uddhava as Na tatha me priyatama. He says, just like you are dear to me, he says, Na atma yonir, na shankaraha. Atma yoni is Lord Brahma, Shankara is Lord Shiva. Then he says, Nacha sankarshano, na shrir. Shankarshan is Lord Balram, Shri is Lakshmi Devi. Naivatmacha yatha bhavan. So he, while speaking to Uddhav, in the 11th canto, Lord Krishna has mentioned, how much you are dear to me, Uddhav. Neither Lord Brahma is so dear to me, nor Lord Shankar is so dear to me. Neither Lord Balram is so dear to me. Neither Lakshmi Devi is dear to me. And the last line he says, neither my own self is dear to me, as much as you are. So that is the position of Uddhav. So Uddhav is coming, and Lord Krishna sees Uddhav yet to come and sit. And here is Maitreya with eagerness to hear, exhibited externally also. But it is mentioned Lord Krishna did not start speaking till Uddhav came, he was comfortably seated, and he was also in a position to hear from Krishna. So that was the first lesson for Maitreya. I am a great sage in terms of my learning. I am a great person in terms of my discipleship of Parashar Muni. Not just I am a great sage, not just I have a great lineage. I am a learned person. He is senior in age also. Maitreya is senior in age. Uddhav is a young boy. So Maitreya is senior in age, senior in discipleship, senior in his jnana. And also, at least it seems that he is very much eager to hear also. So his shoulders are also bent. But all these characters on one side. And another character on Uddhava's side is that he has pleased Krishna. So Krishna gives him some time, some space to rest, and then he starts speaking. So this is the first lesson for Maitreya, that we cannot please Krishna by our own endeavors, by our own connections, by our own intelligence, but we can only please Krishna if we can do something for his pleasure. So the last shloka of the 11th chapter of the Gita, in the purport, in the first paragraph, Prabhupada writes, this shloka is the sum and substance, or I think he writes, is the essence of the Gita. So sometimes we are always fond of essence, right? We want condensed. So 11.55. So Krishna mentions 5 things there. Mat karma krit, mat paramo, mad bhakta sangha varjitah, nirvairah sarva bhuteshu, yasa mameti pandava. 5 things he mentioned. Mat karma krit, that one who acts for me. Mat paramo, who considers me as supreme. Mad bhaktah is my devotee. Sangha varjitah, he is without any attachments in this world. And last point is nirvairah sarva bhuteshu, that somebody who is non-envious to every living entity. And then he says, such a person comes to me. And that is the essence of the Gita as per his divine grace. So the first word is mat karma krit. And if you check the translation of mat karma krit is doing Krishna's work. Many times when we come to the Sangha of devotees, we always hear how we should offer the fruits of our work to Krishna. And that is definitely very laudable. That's very worthy of doing. But Krishna in 11.55 is not mentioning that you do what you want to do and offer the results to Krishna. That is, the jivas. I'm coining a new term in Sanskrit. Jiva karma krit. What I want to do in my plan. I have a plan. I want to do certain things. So I'll do that. And the fruits of that, maybe in terms of financial considerations, maybe in terms of some name and fame that I get, that I offer to Krishna. So Krishna is not talking that. He's saying mat karma krit. Mat karma krit means you do what Krishna wants to be done in this world. So all of us have a plan, and Krishna also has a plan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has a plan. Varaha Dev has a plan. So anyone who tries to fit his own small tiny plan into the bigger plan of Krishna fits into that definition of mat karma krit. So we definitely advance in Krishna consciousness by offering the results of our activities to Krishna. But when Krishna is talking in 11.55, he's saying it's not that. It's that how much you want to fit your plan into my plan. So one thing is that, we have our own plan independent of Krishna's plan. We don't take into consideration what are Krishna's expectations from the jiva. Another extreme is, if Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is the controller of all controllers, then I just give up and I don't do anything. No. These two extremes, we always have the tendency to go to extremes, but Krishna is saying, no, I want you to make your plans in such a way that your plan does not compete with my plan. Your plan complements my plan. When Lord Ramchandra and Lakshman and Sita Devi, they arrive at Panchavati, Agastya Rishi has mentioned to them, you stay nearby is Godavari river and you stay near Panchavati. So when they arrive there, the land is very attractive. The river is flowing, beautiful greenery. And then Lord Ramchandra mentions to Lakshman, please build a dwelling, a hut for all of us to stay. And then with what will he build all that? Some trunks of trees, some wood, some leaves, branches, all this material. So when Lord Ramchandra tells him that, he says, so build something for myself and Sita and also build for you. And when he speaks like that, then Lakshman has tears in his eyes. So is it that, Lakshman is ordered to make a home for Ram and Sita and that's why he's crying? Lord Ramchandra asks him, what are you crying for? So Lakshman says, when you told me to build a home for you, at the end you said, also build something for you. In one sense you told me that I caught it like that. My perception is that you are telling me that I have a separate existence from you. And that's why there should be one home for you and Sita and one home for me or one room in that home for me. It means you kind of separated me from you. You're distancing me from you. Whereas, who am I? In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Shesha, Shesha is Balramji, Shesha is Lakshmanji. So why is he called Shesha? Shesha means, in serving Lord Ramchandra, he does not keep anything remaining. Remaining is Shesha. Shesha reh gaya, Hindi mein bolte hain. Right? So Shesha, why is Balram, why is Lakshman, why is Ananta Shesh called Shesha? Because he goes to the last limits of serving his master. So kuch shesh nahi rakhte ho. His name is Shesha. So Lakshmanji felt bad that, I am always, in one sense, the exile was meant for Lord Ramchandra. And Sita Devi, she also kind of, she pulled herself in. We won't go into that story. But it was not meant for Sita Devi. But Sita Devi, we could say that she is bound up by her marital bonds. In Agni, you go around Agni, so you say, we are together in everything. So in that sense, she's Ardhangini. So from that perspective, she pulled herself into that exile. But what was the need for Lakshman to go into that exile? So it's only pure love, only pure servitude that my dear master and his wife, they will be in the forest. They might need any help, and I should be always available. So during exile, it is mentioned that many times Sita Devi would see some fancy objects, some beautiful flowers or something else in the forest sometimes they see. And Sita Devi would always look forward to decorating her palace in Ramayana, in Ayodhya, after she returns. Usually females like that, whenever they go there, they carry something for their home. So Sita Devi is also having that tendency, and Sita Devi is moving around in the forest. So whatever she would see, which she felt would be good for her palace in Ayodhya after the exile, and she would say, I want this. Who would carry it? Obviously, Lakshmanji was there. So throughout the exile, throughout the forest period, Lakshmanji was always there to serve in the mood of servant, Lord Ramchandra. So the fact that he was kind of distanced, at least he perceived it like that, that made him cry. So that is that Mata Karma Krit. If we want to really please Krishna, then we should be Mat Karma Krit. Until the time we are Jiva Karma Krit, but offering the Phala to Krishna, we are advancing, but we may not be dear to Krishna. So that's the difference between Maitreya and Uddhav. And just some shlokas later, it comes that when Vidura and then later Uddhav and Maitreya, so then Maitreya is transformed. Maitreya feels, here I am, externally senior in all perspectives, but finally Krishna has given more importance to Uddhav. So then he is transformed. And later, then Uddhav is approached by Vidura. Can you please tell me what did Krishna speak? Because at the end, only you were there and Maitreya was there when Krishna left this world. So when Vidura asked this question, Uddhav is really very devotional and very sweet. Who's senior as per the current discussion amongst Maitreya and Uddhav? Who's more dear to Krishna? As per the current discussion, right? So then Vidur goes to Uddhav and says, can you please tell me? So what does Uddhav say? Uddhav says, actually I am not the right person to speak because somebody who's very, very senior to me was also sitting there and I am requesting you to go and speak to Maitreya. He refuses. So from Krishna's heart's perspective, Uddhav is senior to Maitreya. But if you ask Uddhav, then Uddhav says, no, I am junior. And actually, sincerely, he guides Vidur to question Maitreya. And Vidur is also another devotee. He won't argue with another devotee. So he goes to Maitreya. And he sits in front of Maitreya and he asks questions to Maitreya. So when answering, Maitreya remembers something. Because when Krishna left this world, Uddhav and Maitreya are sitting. When leaving, in the last moments, Krishna remembered Vidura. Krishna mentioned Vidura when leaving. There's a very beautiful story that Srila Prabhupada wanted to print Krishna book and short of funds, early days. So he wanted 10,000 pounds equivalent of money. This is in 70s. So who would give? So then Shyam Sundar Prabhu, one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, he said, I'll approach George Harrison. And they approached George Harrison. George Harrison kindly agreed. And Prabhupada always remembered that. So when Prabhupada left this world, Prabhupada took out a ring from his fingers and gave to one of his secretaries and told him that you give this ring to George Harrison. Now externally, George Harrison, Jai Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki. So externally, George Harrison, to our mundane eyes, he never got initiated from Srila Prabhupada. He remained a musician. But, that's how gratitude is. Krishna never forgets what we do for Krishna, although we forget. Similarly, Prabhupada also, in those days when I did not have money, this musician, he helped me at a time when I needed the money the most. Can you imagine His Divine Grace leaving this world and at that time remembering George Harrison and giving his personal ring for George Harrison? So Krishna also, he's remembering Vidur. What is the special quality of Vidur? Vidur's special quality is he stayed in the dirt of Hastinapur, Asat Sabha. And even if he's staying there, he never got contaminated by it. Padmapatra Ivambasa. But more important than that is, he was very vocal about the injustice that was happening on the Pandavas when everyone else, because of invalid or valid reasons, they kept quiet. So Bhishma, because of some reasons, he kept quiet. Somebody else like Dronacharya, Kripacharya, they kept quiet. Dhritarashtra had his own reasons. Dushasana, Karna have their own reasons. Ashwatthama has his own reasons. Everyone had their own reasons. But Vidur was the only person who kept on speaking, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. To the extent to which, after Krishna went as Shanti Dut, when Krishna finally showed his Virat Roop, and details can be spoken some other time. But then 3 or 4 days after that, Vidur went to Dhritarashtra personally and said, see, now you saw everything. Now at least throw this sin personified. He calls Duryodhana as Purusha Dvit. Purusha Dvit means his offense personified. Aghasur in Krishna Lila, his name is Agha, sin. So his sin personified. It's a lesser crime to be sin personified. But Duryodhana is offense personified. So he says, please throw Duryodhana out of the family, otherwise your whole family will be ruined. This conversation is heard by Duryodhana. And Duryodhana says, this is too much. So many years I have tolerated your nonsense. And right now in my presence to my father, you are speaking that I should be thrown out. We will throw you out. And I could use the word ejected. Ejected means you're forcefully, take something and just throw out. Actually, Vidur was ejected out of the royal assembly. But Vidur never changed his opinion, and Vidur was always, he had courage to compliment his character. Sometimes people have character, but they don't have the courage to voice it out. And sometimes people have courage to speak, but they may not have the character to speak the right things. Vidur is such an amazing combination of character and courage. And that is why Krishna, because he loves the Pandavas. So Krishna is saying, those who love my devotees are actually my devotees, not those who love me directly. So because Pandavas constantly loved Krishna, Krishna is remembering the Pandavas, and that person who served the Pandavas, always their well-wisher, Krishna remembers at the last moment. So this thought, when Vidur is asking questions to Maitreya, Maitreya is sitting on a high seat, Vidur is speaking, and Vidur asks questions to Maitreya. At that time, Maitreya remembers that sometimes when Krishna went to Hastinapur, while taking rest after having food, he has kept his lotus feet in the lap of Vidur. And just understanding that this person who's asking me questions, I first got cheated by Uddhav, but my eyes were open and I saw Krishna did not speak till Uddhav came. So I learnt my lesson. It's not dependent on your age, it's dependent on who pleases Krishna. And now another trick is happening, that somebody who's pretending to be in Agyana is sitting down and saying, oh Maitreya Muni, can you please guide me? And Maitreya remembers, excuse me, I know who you are. Krishna kept his feet in your lap, how much he trusts you. And Maitreya got devotionally agitated by that thought. How fortunate am I that I am getting the darshan of somebody who was trusted by Krishna. All of us trust Krishna, but does Krishna trust us? Yeah. So that is a lifelong struggle. But Vidur has won that lifelong struggle, that Krishna trusts him. That's a big achievement. And that achievement was secured by Vidura by caring selflessly, with character, courageously for the devotees of Krishna. So here is a hint for all of us. If we devote our lives to serve devotees, please devotees with courage and character, we could also come somewhere in the drishti of Krishna, and Krishna will remember us. This is like the shortcut to pleasing Krishna. Prabhupada at one point of time said that, if you really want to come close to Krishna fast, with lesser time, then he said, preach Krishna consciousness. Because preaching is not about your speaking skills, preaching is about the intention with which you preach. Are you really trying to speak in such a way that the audience comes close to Krishna? So two things can happen when you speak. Either the audience comes close to you, because the speaker, because of the speaking skills, or the audience comes close because of the message of the speaker to the Supreme Lord. So always in Mangalacharan, we offer prayers that let my speaking be in such a way that the audience comes close to you, the Supreme Lord, and please empower me to speak like that. So preaching with the right intention or caring for devotees, if you're caring for your brothers and sisters, then Krishna remembers you. There's a fast way to please Krishna. So, he understands this person is more fortunate than me, although he appears to be sitting at a lower level, and he asks questions, and then Maitreya guides him. So we'll stop this topic there, and today we'll also speak a little bit about Lord Varaha Dev. Varaha Dev is very special personality. He looks very different, and in the course of narration we'll speak a little bit about him. But when he appeared in front of Hiranyaksha, actually Hiranyaksha ended up speaking, "Oh amphibious beast," because Shukara, the boar, he moves on the land also, and he sometimes goes in the water also. So he's an amphibious person. But seeing his strange form, because Vishnu has a particular form, we have an expectation, 4 hands, very beautiful. But this form was not that typical 4-handed form. It was a 4-hoofed form. He had 4 hooves, not 4 hands. So that was a little difficult for him to understand, trying to fit the Supreme Lord into his own mental understanding. If you check out the Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, then when Lord Narasimha jumps out from the pillar, when Hiranyakashipu punches the pillar, and Lord Narasimha appears out, actually if you see there, then even Hiranyakashipu could not understand that till now, what was the conversation between Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad? What was the whole conversation? Where is your Lord? Who's the source of your power? So it was all about the Supreme Lord. Prahlad kept on saying, the source of your power is the source of my power. So he's talking about the Supreme Lord. So where is he? He's everywhere. So is he there in the pillar? Yes. And then he punches. And then who will come out then? The whole conversation is the Supreme Lord. But when Lord Narasimha came out, because he was not fitting into the typical understanding of a demon like Hiranyakashipu, if you check the shloka, the translation, he says, who is this beast? So the demons, it's very, very difficult for them to understand that the Supreme Lord, who has a typical shape and who has a typical form, can mysteriously change his form only for pleasing and fulfilling the words of his dear devotees. Because Prahlad said. So he came up from a pillar. But it's difficult for Hiranyakashipu to accept it. So he says, is this a beast? Similarly here also, when Hiranyaksha saw Varaha Dev, he said, oh, you beast. So, they just cannot understand how the Supreme Lord is a person. And because the Supreme Lord is a person, if you love him, he can also do as per your wishes. And that's why, Srila Prabhupada, he kept on insisting that the first step in pleasing Krishna is to understand Krishna is a person. Growing up in a situation where we think God as some powerful energy, that conception, it just does not go. After years and years of chanting, after years and years of devotional service, finally, for this to sink in that he is a person. And because he is a person, he has a heart. And because he has a heart, he has likes and he has dislikes. And the more we adjust our lives as per his likes, we will be benefited. And the more we keep on fighting with his dislikes, the more we will be troubled. So we'll go through the narration. Swayambhuva Manu is the first Manu when creation takes place. And Swayambhuva Manu, at one point of time, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions in Laghu Bhagavatamrit that because of some mistake that he did, he got cursed by Agastya Muni. And the curse was that usually Srishti, Sthiti and Pralaya. These are the three states. So after Srishti happens, for some time there is Sthiti. And then at the end there will be Pralaya. So there will be inundation of water. But because Swayambhuva Manu got cursed by Agastya Muni, the inundation of water happened in between. What was supposed to happen at the end happened in between. And because of that, the earth, it went into the Garbhodak ocean. So Swayambhuva Manu is thinking, the middle planetary systems are very important. Why are the middle planetary system important? Because upper planetary systems, as you go higher and higher, it is called Bhoga Bhumi. Bhoga Bhumi means it is only a 5-star hotel for enjoyment. You just take good rest there, you enjoy the life there, right? And as you go down, the lower planetary systems are basically Shiksha Bhumi. You get troubled there for whatever sinful activities you have done. So where is the chance to remember the Supreme Lord? If you are too much materially comfortable, nice salary, nice job, everything is going good, usually it's difficult to remember the Lord. Few rare souls who are really materially very well situated, they remember the Lord. But typically, Janma Ishwarya, Shrutashri. So Ishwarya is one of the obstacles. And if you don't have a salary, you don't have a job for the last 3 years, your knees are aching, blood pressure is high, lipid profile has gone for a toss, right? So people are so much absorbed, how will I treat this? How will I overcome all this trouble? So there's very less chance that you remember the Lord. So too much happiness and too much trouble is difficult to. So Swayambhuva Manu is considerate of all the people in the universe and is thinking, if the upper planetary systems get submerged in water, not a serious problem. If the lower planetary systems get submerged in water, not a serious problem. But if the middle planetary systems, Karma Bhumi, and if you have the right consciousness, if you have the right association, then Seva Bhumi. Because in the 5th canto, at one place it is mentioned, the Devatas in the upper planetary systems are praying to the Lord. They say, actually we don't remember you because in the heavenly planets, they speak a word, Atishaya Indriya Utsavat. So they're saying there is an Indriya Utsav. Tomorrow we have Narsingh Chaturdashi Utsav, Hari Bol. So tomorrow is going to be Seva Utsav because Nityanand Prabhu is the personification of servitude. But the Devatas are saying, Atishay Indriya Utsav. We don't remember you. So, 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, the demigods are praying to the Lord, can you please bless us to be born on the earth planet? Why? Because on the earth planet, there is sufficient bhoga, sufficient happiness, but there is sufficient distress also that you pray to the Lord and say, my dear Lord, can you please tell me the solution to all problems? But too much diseases, too much issues, don't remember Krishna. Too much comfort, too much happiness, don't remember Krishna. So they want to come to Karma Bhumi or Seva Bhumi, Smaran Bhumi. So Swayambhuva Manu is concerned about all of us, that the earth planet has been submerged into water. So what to do? What will happen when any challenges there in the Brahmanda? Where will they go to? Brahma. Brahmanda, Brahma. So they go to Lord Brahma. And Swayambhuva Manu is saying, please, can you do something about this? Lord Brahma is thinking, the whole earth planet has submerged into the ocean of the Brahmanda. It's gone deep. What we see in the Brahmanda is only the upper half. And in the lower half there is water. On that there is Lord Shesha. On that there is Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. And from the navel of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu there is a lotus stem. In that lotus stem are the 14 planetary systems. And the earth has submerged to the bottom of the universe. It means half of the universe below. So Brahmaji says, I don't think I can do that. And he says, the best thing is, let me pray to the Supreme Lord and ask him what is his plan. So again we come to the same point. Mat karma krit. So Lord Brahma closes his eyes and is thinking that what could be the solution to this? Why could the best part of the universe, which is meant to be a secret door to the spiritual world, how can the Lord allow that secret door to be closed, fallen into the ocean? In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes a very, very, 2-line purport. But the first line is very, very sweet and very, very beautiful. Prabhupada writes, the pure devotees of the Lord, who are all his confidential servitors, sometimes become perplexed in the discharge of their duties, but they never become discouraged. I'll repeat this line again. The pure devotees of the Lord, who are his confidential servitors, sometimes become perplexed in the discharge of their duties, but they never become discouraged. So all of us, although we are not pure, but because we are following the path of pure devotional service, we have an adhikar to become perplexed. Perplexed means confused. अब क्या कर सकते हैं? क्या करूं मैं? मेरे जीवन में ऐसी आफत आ गई, ऐसी तकलीफ आ गई, and I'm completely confused. But we don't have the adhikar to become discouraged. So we can become, directionless, but we cannot become hopeless. Sometimes in life you don't know what to do. This is right, that is right, and there are Vaishnavas to consult. But you cannot have the adhikar to become hopeless. There is always hope for a theist. So only somebody who does not have any connection with the Supreme Lord, only an atheist can actually be hopeless. Why am I speaking this? I am reminding myself, anytime in the course of serving Krishna, if I become hopeless, I am putting myself in the category of a non-believer. Only when I don't have a true understanding with the Lord, that is the only time when there is hopelessness. Otherwise, Krishna is always standing with the flute, and Radharani is always standing next to him with a garland. And if you request Radharani, can you please help me? Radharani is always there to recommend your name and my name to Krishna, that can you please help him? He's my son. He's come here with a request. So, as soon as Lord Brahma is thinking about Lord Krishna, and he is not discouraged, but he is perplexed, is confused, the Lord helps him, and the Lord comes out of his nostril. So there's another strange place to come from. But it is for a purpose, and we'll discuss that. So the Supreme Lord appears out of the nostril. The Supreme Lord can always come riding on the body of Garuda. But sometimes the Supreme Lord in Vrindavan Leela chooses to ride from Mathura to Vrindavan on the hoods of Kaliya. Not this time. This time when Krishna was there, he didn't come from Mathura. He came on Akrura's chariot. But sometimes it is mentioned he rides on Kaliya. So why would the Supreme Lord who rides on Garuda, who's the king of all the birds, sometimes ride on Kaliya? He has a desire. Why would the Supreme Lord, who has an opportunity to come from anywhere, come from a dead pillar? And why would the Supreme Lord come from the nostril? Because he wants to show, these material conditions don't affect me. There is a very beautiful shloka in the first canto. I think it is at the end of the 11th chapter. 11th chapter is Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. And towards the end, last 5 slokas, there is one, I remember the first line now. So it says, Etad Ishanam Ishasya. Etad Ishanam Ishasya Prakritisthopi api tadgunai. The next line I don't remember right now. But the first line is, in Hindi I will speak it. Etad Ishanam Ishasya. English I'll speak. This is the godness of God. Etad Ishanam Ishasya. What? Prakritisthai api tadgunai. That what is the godness of God? That those who have surrendered to God don't get affected by the prakriti, the 3 modes of nature. So if you surrender to Lord, you don't get affected by sattva, rajo and tama. So what about the Lord? So to prove, yatha buddhis tadashraya. That if you take shelter of the Lord, even you can get free from sattva, rajo and tamo. So what to speak of the Lord? Etad ishanam ishasya. Very beautiful. So the Lord is so great, he can appear from a pillar, he can appear from a nostril, but he never gets contaminated. So just to prove that, and when he appeared, he was of the size of the upper part of the thumb, not even the thumb. And he appeared like that out of the nostril. And then everyone is thinking, who is he? Because Brahma has also not seen him in this form. This is the first Manvantar. And the Devatas have also not, the sages have not known this form. So all of them are thinking, who is this person? But there's something about the sages that, they don't have an envious nature. We are talking Nirvaira Sarva Bhuteshu. So the Devatas, the sages and Lord Brahma, when they see a strange person, we saw the reaction of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha when they saw a strange person. What was the reaction? They called a beast. And the sages, Brahmaji and Devatas, they also see a strange person. But somewhere inside they feel, we don't call people a beast, right? If I don't know you, I don't call a beast. What they do, you know what? They start praying to the Lord. They don't know He's the Lord. But they start praying to the Lord. So what is the symptom of a devotee? The symptom of a devotee is not that he never gets fearful. We can be affected by fear. But the symptom of a devotee is Krishna, Krishna Mahabaho. Whenever there is fear, we run to Abhaya Charana Ravindare. So the infallibility, Krishna is Achyuta. His infallibility is he always protects his devotees. And the infallibility of the devotee is not that he never falls. The infallibility of the devotee is whenever he falls, he reaches out to Krishna. That is his infallible nature. So they start praying to the Lord. And because he is the Lord, he hears those prayers. They don't know they're offering prayers to him. But in response to the beautiful prayers offered in stuti of the Lord gives out a loud roar. Varaha Dev gives out a loud roar. It's a loud, tumultuous noise. And that loud, tumultuous noise is audible throughout the Brahmanda up to Satyalok, Brahmaji's planet. And that loud roar of Varahadev encourages the Devatas, encourages the sages, encourages Brahmaji who's present there, encourages those who are seated on Jana Loka, Tapo Loka and Satyaloka, the upper top 3 planetary systems. All the sadhus stay there, all the tapasvis stay there. They don't know he's Vishnu, but when he gives out a roar, it encourages them, it makes them happy. In Krishna Leela, there are 3 instances where Krishna blows his conch shell. I'll quickly speak those 3 instances. One is on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. All of us know that. So what happened when Krishna blew his conch? Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya. It is mentioned, Hridayani Vyadarayat. The opposite side, their hearts were shattered by that sound. Pong. What is there to get shattered? But let's go to the next story. The next story is this first canto, 11th chapter. At the beginning it is mentioned, Krishna, after the Mahabharata war, 8th chapter is Kunti Devi's prayers. So Kunti Devi says, stay here. 9th chapter is Bhishma Dev leaves. So after delivering Bhishma Dev, he went on Makar Sankranti. So then Krishna comes to Dwarka. So 11th chapter of first canto is entrance of Krishna into Dwarka. So when he comes there, he wants to tell all his Dwarka Vasis, I have come. So what does Krishna do? On the gates of Dwarka, it is big Dwar, multiple Dwar, that's why it's called Dwarka. So on the door of Dwarka, he again takes his conch shell, pong, like that. What happened when he blew on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Everyone, Hridayani Vyadarayat, people became fearful. On the gates of Dwarka, what happens when Krishna blows his conch shell? All the Dwarka Vasis, whatever they were doing, some ladies were feeding their children, some were doing their work, whatever they were doing, all of the Dwarka Vasis stopped their work midway and all of them ran to take darshan of Krishna because they were feeling in the absence of Krishna, just like when there is no sun, you can't see the beauty of the city. So they were saying our Dwarka is very beautiful, but because the sun is not there, they could not appreciate Dwarka. Just like when Lord Ramchandra went to exile, Ayodhya became like a forest only, deserted forest only. Nobody took care of Ayodhya, and that's why we celebrate Deepavali, Lord Ramchandra's homecoming. So the Dwarka Vasis, they are also hearing the same conch shell. But because they have affection for Krishna, it aroused feelings of attraction for Krishna. Oh, Krishna has come. They started running. So in one place, the same conch shell is introducing fear. In another place, the same conch shell is introducing attraction. And then there is a third story also. When Krishna and Balram, they passed out of the Gurukul, they asked Sandipani Muni, can we give you some Guru Dakshina? Sandipani Muni said, I am so gratified by just having you both as my disciples. Hindi में उसको बोलते हैं, मैं तो कृतार्थ हो गया. I am satisfied just the way you studied what people study in 12 years in 64 days. The way you are eager to hear. I am speaking to you. By afternoon you hear from me. By evening you practice it. By late evening you are expert. Next day you say, okay, Guruji, next subject. So the way you studied, what does a teacher want? What is the pleasure of a teacher? that the students are eager to accept what he's saying, what he's giving. Prabhupada said the way you can please me is just accept what I'm giving to you and if possible give it to others. So Sandipani Muni is saying, my Guru Dakshina is the way you heard, the way you learned. That is my Guru Dakshina. He said, no, that's your greatness, but we still want to offer. He said, I don't want anything. He asked his wife. So Guru Patni, she said that we lost one son. He drowned in the ocean. This Krishna and Balaram are very special. So special Guru Dakshina mango unko. Our lost son who had drowned, can they bring him back? Okay? Kya problem hai usme? So Krishna and Balaram, we won't go long way. They go to Samyamani. They go to the place where Yamraj stays. On the gates of Yamaloka, again Krishna blows his conch shell. Like that. So what happens? There are different punishments that are given to different people in Yamaloka. There are 28 different hellish areas on which there are 28 different punishments given. We don't want to spoil your appetite. We won't speak you. But last chapter of the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, if you read, after you have your prasad, it will help you to understand what all was happening there. Just one thing, there is a Asi Patra. Patra means leaves and Asi means sword. So there is a tree on which there are branches and there are leaves, and every leaf is a sword. And somebody who has hurt others, he gets a punishment that the Yam Dutas, they put him on the top of the tree and they pull him down like that. Can you imagine, there are all leaves, swords, the blood, right? So Asi Patra 1. And then Kumbhi Pak, they cook. Anyways, we don't want to go into more details. So the Kumbhi Pak has fire below. As soon as Krishna blew his conch shell, the fire stopped. And suddenly people felt, what happened? Yeah? And the Asi Patra, all the leaves, autumn came there. All the leaves fell down. The swords fell down. And suddenly people felt, kya ho gaya? I think they discovered my Punya diary. Beech mein mera sab punishment band ho gaya. Nothing to do with that. Krishna blew his conch shell. All the hellish punishments in the hellish planet just stopped because of the sound of Krishna's conch shell. And Yamraj also heard it. Yamraj understands his master's call. The dog, when the master says, hey, the dog and the master, and if you say, hey, he will show his teeth. So when he blew his conch shell, Yamraj understood. Yamraj immediately went to the gates. And he said, yes. So he said, do you have the son of my teacher? He said, yes. Can you return him back? Of course. So he was undergoing some punishment inside. All the punishment stopped. He got a very beautiful body, right? He got some clothes. He got dressed up nicely. And Yamraj brought that well-dressed boy along with some extra gifts for Krishna and Balaram and said, I didn't know you have that connection. Guru Putra, right? And then Krishna and Balaram. So we took these 3 stories, what for? The same sound of the conch shell, because people had envy for the devotees. Somewhere in the Mahabharata, it is quoted in Brihad Bhagavatamrit, Krishna says, actually, O Kauravas, your problem is not that you have envy for me. It's a deeper problem. The deeper problem is you don't have envy for me, you have envy for those whom I love. And in that shloka, I remember, it says, Mat prana hi Pandava. One of the lines which Krishna speaks is, Mat prana hi Pandava, and you have spent your whole lives hurting my prana. That is why I'm against you. So those who have envy for Krishna or his devotees, they got heart shattered, MI, myocardial infraction. And those who had love for Krishna, they got positively agitated and they came running to see Krishna. And those who were neutral, those who were having some experiences in the hellish, they don't have any love for Krishna. But did they hate Krishna? They're sinful people. They don't know who is Krishna. वो अपना मौज कर रहे थे, उसके लिए उनको सजा मिल रही थी. They are neutral people. What happened to them? They got freedom from their miseries. Same sound can give these 3 effects. So when Varaha Dev gave out that loud roar in response to the prayers of the Devatas and the sages, what happened is, because he gave that roar, and what are these Devatas and sages and Brahmaji? Are they positive, they are negative, or they are neutral? They are positive. They felt encouraged by that. So it's very sweet. If we have the right attitude inside and we come in front of Gopinath and we pray to Gopinath, Gopinath will give us an experience of encouragement. Gopinath will give us an encouragement, experience of positivity. Gopinath will give us an experience of hope. How will that happen? Probably it will be some devotee who sees you there and he says, are you okay? Is everything all right? Yeah. Or somebody senior to you, he gives you a strange, for no apparent reason, he calls you and says, "Kaise hain? Bahut din se dekha nahi aapko." Or he might be right there through his agency of Paramatma in the heart. But all it matters is when we enter the temple hall, are we in the right frame of mind? Lord Brahma, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to Sanatan Goswami. At one point of time, Lord Brahma wanted to see Lord Krishna. And the Dwarpal of Dwarka asked him, "Who are you?" And Lord Brahma said, "I am Brahma. Go and tell Krishna." So he went and told Krishna, "Brahma ji has come to see you." And the way he spoke, Brahma. So Krishna understood the mood. So Krishna said, "Ask him which Brahma." So Dwarpal came out and said, "Master is asking, कौन से Brahma है आप?" That was like a chili on the wound. पहले वो द्वारपाल बोल रहा है कौन है? बोले चतुर्मुख ब्रह्मा, और कौन? और किसके होते हैं चार मुख? And now Krishna, the master, is asking him which Brahma. So he said, the four-headed Brahma, tell him, four-headed Brahma. So Krishna was told four-headed Brahma. He said, okay, send him in. He was at the door. Brahmaji, four-headed Brahma is at the door. At that time, Krishna as Paramatma, in the heart of all the Brahmas, in all the millions of universes. How many universes? राई के दाने में एक थैली में राई के कितने दाने होते हैं? Those many universes are there. So all the Brahmas, they were summoned by Krishna. And all the Brahmas came there. Some of them had 8 heads, some of them had 16, some of them had 32, some of them had 64, some of them had, the highest figure that is mentioned, 10 million. And it occurred to our Brahma that his heads were the lowest in number. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that this Brahma discovered, I was thinking, तेरे कितने एक, तेरे कितने एक, तेरे कितने एक, तेरे कितने एक, सबके एक है, मैं, no, four-headed Brahma. And Krishna, understanding that pride, he revealed to him, you are the least in all the Brahmandas. There's so much to speak. I'll speak one more story. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, very surrendered, and anytime, anywhere in the whole of ISKCON there is a management crisis, Prabhupada would say, call Tamal Krishna. The books were stuck up in the Bombay dockyard. Books had come from Japan. They were supposed to be distributed because Vrindavan and Mayapur temple were built on book distribution money. But the books, because there was some union strike in Bombay docks, the books were stuck up. Prabhupada said, call Tamal Krishna. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, alone, a westerner, in sannyas clothes, went to Bombay dockyard. And the union leaders, who don't talk usually with people, he talked with them and he released the consignment of Prabhupada books without any mishap. So Prabhupada said, Tamal Krishna can do anything. In Juhu, things were getting stuck up. He said, call Tamal Krishna. Tamal Krishna Maharaj helped here. So anywhere there was a challenge, call Tamal Krishna. In Los Angeles, one time there was a challenge. We don't want to speak about that. He said, call Tamal Krishna. So anywhere and everywhere, Tamal Krishna. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj at one point of time was the president of Los Angeles. One time Prabhupada called him to his room and said, it is mentioned in the Vedas that Mahavishnu is one of the incarnations of Lord Krishna. And when Mahavishnu breathes out, then universes come out from his pores. Yasyaika nishvasita kalam athavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha. Vishnur mahanisa yasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So when he breathes out, universes come out. Breathes in, universes go in. So he says, Krishna ka wo ek amsh hai, Mahavishnu. In that universe, he says, half of it is filled with water. And the upper half has 14 planetary systems. Out of that 14 planetary systems, the middle planetary systems is the Earth. On that Earth, on that planetary system, there are many planets, but one of them is Earth. On that Earth, there are 7 continents. One of the continent is North America. In that North America, there are many states. I think 52 states in America. One of them is California. In that California, there are many cities. In one city is Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, there are many areas. One area is La Cienega Boulevard. In that La Cienega Boulevard, there are many homes. One home is our ISKCON temple. In that ISKCON temple, there are many rooms. In one room, one person stays, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and he thinks he's important. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was, first thinking that it's a nice Bhagavatam class about, the structure of the universe, and maybe in the temple of Vedic planetarium, maybe something can happen. But at the end when he said, and that Tamal Krishna thinks is important. So Prabhupada somewhere detected that because he is indispensable, for some crisis, nobody other than him could handle it. But there was some pride. It was not based on Guru blessings. It's because of the blessings of my Guru Maharaj that I am able to mat karma krit. So to deflate that pride, Prabhupada told this whole story. And then he said, he thinks you are important. Similarly, Krishna also, for Lord Brahma, he is telling that you are the least. Baki sab Brahma jada hai. So our original point was, when we come to Krishna's temple here, we should understand, if we have the wrong attitude, Lord Brahma was purified. We may, so all it takes is just walk in with our 2 feet. There's no Dwarpal here. But if we can really access Krishna or not, that's a different thing. One thing is our legs walk into this temple hall. Another thing is our consciousness also walks in with our legs. And if you really remember this Brahmaji's story, how Brahmaji was humiliated, because usually humility is followed after humiliation. Very few people will positively be humble. Mostly it comes after humiliation. So Brahmaji got humility in this way. So, we'll come to our original story. So, Varaha Dev came, he gave out that sound, everyone felt encouraged. And then Lord Brahma offered his request to Lord Varaha Dev that Bhumi has submerged into the ocean. Can you please, take it out? And Lord Varaha Dev, in a very joyous way, because fulfilling the requests of his devotee is a pleasure. Actually, loving child, when he goes to the father and says, Papa, can I get this from you? If he's a loving child, very nice. Father says, all my wealth is for you only. Right? This passbook, the figures are meant for you only. This home is meant for you only. I'm earning for you only. So the very beautiful shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I am not able to recollect the first line, but it says, Bhakta Ichha Purti Vinu Nahi Ara Kritya. Krishna sei kare jai mage bhritya. Bhakta Ichha Purti Vinu Ara Nahi Kritya. Krishna ka ek hi kaam hai, this Krishna, loving Krishna, that Bhritya Ichha Purti Vinu Ara Nahi Kritya. Bhagwan ka ek hi kaam hai, apne bhakton ki, premi bhakton ki ichha purna karna. So as soon as he was requested, Lord Varaha Dev, he has that form of Varaha. When Lord Narasimha appeared, he had the upper part of a lion, and when he killed Hiranyakashipu, blood spattered. He ripped him open, and the blood came out, right? So some of the blood also was on his tongue. And lion, when he kills an elephant, then it's a victory. But when blood comes out, then, he licks also. So it is mentioned, Lord Narasimha, he licked. 11th chapter of the Gita, it is mentioned, the universal form also had a tongue, and he was leliyase, it is mentioned. He was licking, because Churinitai Uttamangai, all the warriors of Mahabharata, they were entering into the mouth of the Virata Rupa. So Varaha Dev, why did he take a Varaha form? We wanted to discuss that, and we mentioned that we'll discuss it at the end. Actually, when something is submerged in the Garbhodak ocean, any water body, lake, river, ocean, what will be there at the bottom? It will be dirt. Gandagi rahegi, right, at the bottom. So Krishna takes a form, although he can go as four-handed Narayana also, but Krishna is not like that. Krishna wants reciprocation. So he takes a Shukara Rupa. Why does he take Shukara Rupa? Because Shukara, a hog, it's difficult to speak that word, but then just to get an understanding, a hog, usually goes into filthy places, dirty places, right? So the Supreme Lord, because to save Bhumi, on the request of his dear devotees, Brahmaji and all, and Swayambhuva Manu is also a pure one of the Mahajans, to save Bhumi Devi, he wanted to save Bhumi Devi from the bottom of the universe, which is a dirty place. So how will he do it? He'll take it in a form of a Shukara. And that's why he took that form, which even Hiranyaksha could not understand, which even his dear devotees could not understand, but he reciprocated when they offered prayers. So he went down. When he went down, he dived into the ocean. So it is mentioned, Shukdev Goswami speaking, Maitreya Muni is describing that when he seemed to divide the Garbhodak ocean into two parts. And two huge waves were created like this. He's going in the center, two waves, and it looked like two arms of the ocean god went up and said, "Oh my Lord, please don't cause harm to me." So what must be that very beautiful form, and what must be that power? And he went deep into the ocean, and there was Bhumi Devi. He took out Bhumi Devi, put her on the tusks of Varaha, and he brought Bhumi Devi out. And our Jayadev Goswami is speaking in Dashavatara Stotra. He's saying, Vasati dashana shikhare dharani tavalagna shashini kalanka kaleva nimagna keshavadhrita shukara rupa jai jagadish hare jai jagadish hare jai jagadish hare. Vasati dashana. Dashana means the teeth. So Vasati dashana shikhare dharani tavalagna. Dharani, Bhumi Devi, is sitting on the tips of your tusks. And how does she look like? Shashini kalanka. Shashini means the moon. Moon के ऊपर भी दाग है ना, वैसे moon लेकिन सुंदर दिखता है दागों के साथ, वैसे भूमि भी उनके ऊपर दाग है. कौन से दाग है? The forests. If you look at the moon, the earth from a distance, how does it look? It does not look like a round ball, right? The sun looks like a uniform color. How does the earth look? There are patches, right? The continents and the water bodies. So very beautiful. Shashini kalanka eva kaleva nimagna. And you are looking as beautiful as the moon. That's how Jayadev Goswami is describing. So he brought the earth on his tusks, and that time, according to the Bhagavatam, two stories are mixed. One happened in the first Manvantar, and the second happened in Chakshusha Manvantar, the sixth Manvantar. But then Hiranyaksha, he saw, and out of his pride, he attacked Varahadev. There was a fight between them, which we'll discuss next Varahadev appearance day. So there was a fight between them. He speaks very vile words. He speaks abusive words to Lord Varahadev. Lord Varahadev feels very bad. Why is this person speaking to me like this? If you want to fight, fight, but don't speak unspeakable words. Vacho Vegam he did not have. So then there is a fight, and at the end of the fight, there is a situation where Hiranyaksha, he understands that I cannot win against him. So he creates lots of illusions. He disappears, and suddenly there is darkness, there is hailstorm, there is wind, there is rain, and from the clouds in the sky, pus, blood, bones, hair, all dirty things are falling. And that time, Varahadev understands that this is not a time to fight properly, in the sense, following rules, because he's not following rules. First, there was attacks. First attack was from Hiranyaksha. He hit the chest of Varahadev. But Varahadev did not feel much. Then Varahadev, with his mace, attacked the chin of Hiranyaksha. But when he attacked the chin of Hiranyaksha with his mace, he deflected it. And then there's details of the flight. But, at one point of time when he started creating illusions, he's trying to create a scene where you don't understand what is happening. Then Varahadev understood this is the time to finish this off. So he took out his Sudarshan Chakra. And when he took out his Sudarshan Chakra, all the illusion that was created was automatically dispersed. In Dhruv Maharaj's story also, a point comes when Dhruv Maharaj is fighting with Yakshas. And at one point of time, Dhruv Maharaj is fighting so bravely. Then what do the Yakshas do? Yakshas also create an illusion. There are sea waves coming from the sky. There are tigers and lions and elephants falling from the sky. So that's what usually demons will do. It starts as a fair fight. But when they understand we cannot win against those who are blessed by the Lord in a fair fight, we have to do unfair tactics. Pandavas ko kaise haraya? Kaise taklif di unko? Dice game, right? So Dhruv Maharaj also had to understand. So that time Dhruv Maharaj is completely lost how to fight against this. So that time some sages come, and sages say, chant the holy names. Do you remember? You are a devotee of the Lord. No illusion can overcome the devotee when he's chanting the holy names. And the sages make Dhruv Maharaj chant the holy names. Can we chant the holy names? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Dhruv Maharaj chants the holy names and shoots one arrow. That one arrow destroys all the illusion. Similarly, Varaha Dev takes out his Sudarshan Chakra and all the illusion is gone. Then again, there is fighting. And then at one point of time, Varaha Dev decides that we need to end this because Brahmaji and all, they come and say, you know, you are trying to give him a chance to change. But he is thinking, you are equal in strength to him. वो कैसे आपके साथ खेल खेल रहा है? Narsingh Dev also, he allowed Hiranyakashipu to fight for some time. At one point of time, Hiranyakashipu is thinking, I think we are equals. So when that point came, see Varaha Dev, Lord Ramchandra, how many times did he kill the head of Ravan? Multiple times. Why? He is giving a chance to Ravan to rethink. Nobody could kill me, but Ram has killed me. Head has gone. So at least with a new head, I should surrender to Ram. So again and again that chance is given. Varaha Dev gave that chance. Lord Narasimha Dev gave that chance. But Hiranyaksha was not understanding. So at one point of time, he jumps and he tries to attack Varaha Dev. Varaha Dev, with his left hand, he hit him at the base of his ear. So here he slapped him. And as soon as he did that, that was the end of Hiranyaksha. Actually, it was done in a very casual way. And, it is mentioned, Maitreya Muni and Shukdev Goswami are describing, eyes came out of sockets, legs and hands were broken, and hair was scattered, and Varahadev fell on the ground. Jai Varahadev ki. Jai. Yeah. Hiranyaksha fell on the ground. Varahadev ki jai. And Lord Brahma is watching this whole show. Brahmaji is very happy. Brahmaji comes there and he looks at the face of Hiranyaksha. It is shining. And he says, how fortunate is this Hiranyaksha that person whose face all the yogis are doing long years of meditation for seeing that face, but they don't see that face. That face, this fool, this evil person, got the darshan at the moment of his death. How fortunate is he? How auspicious death this is. And this is the end of Varahadev, this is the end of Hiranyaksha. So let us all pray to Varahadev today that when we offer prayers with the right intention, may you also give out your sound, sometimes to the devotees, sometimes to Sankirtan, sometimes to the class of some person. But if we come with the right intention, we'll always receive encouragement, we'll always receive hope, we'll always receive, the determination to fight, continue our war with Maya Devi. I'll just end with this one thing. This is something for personal application. Hiranya Aksha. Hiranya means gold and Aksha means eyes. So what does Hiranya Aksha mean? Symbolically, Hiranyaksha just does not mean somebody said something. What is that? Okay, so Hiranyaksha, in a very simple way, it appears that he has eyes of gold. Hiranya Aksha. It's not eyes of gold. It is that person who's always looking for enjoyment in this world, and enjoyment can be purchased with gold, money. So Hiranyaksha means, anywhere he sees, isme kya enjoyment hai mere liye? Whatever he sees as bhoga vastu. He does not see it as, tyaga vastu or arpan vastu. It's a bhoga vastu. So Hiranyaksha represents the enjoyment tendency in all of us. And it is very clearly mentioned when Varahadev came, we could not discuss that part, but they offer their prayers, they offer, oh, you are yajna personified. You are sacrifice personified. It is mentioned when Varahadev, went to the bottom of the ocean and he brought out Bhumi Devi, he was wet because he went into the ocean. So he shook his body. That's what Varaha does. So when the water that was there on his body, it fell when he shook his body. That water from the Shukara Rupa, it fell on the sages on Janarlok, Tapolok and Satyalok. So usually when a hog shakes his body, what water will fall on your body? Dirty water. And who would be pleased with that? The highest sages of the universe in that part of the universe, when they received the water that was shaken from the body, they said, Jai, we got purified, Hari Bol. So it is mentioned, when we do yagya, there are these kusha grass mats. Special, if you attend any yagya, the kusha grass comes from the hair of Varaha. The water from his hair tips purified the great sages. Actually, of all the incarnations, definitely Lord Krishna is Yagya. But of all the incarnations, actually, it is Varaha who is Yagya personified. So very clearly it is mentioned in the third canto of the Bhagavatam. So Hiranyaksha is the enjoyment tendency, symbolically. And he was killed by Varaha. And who is Varaha? Varaha is also the representation of sacrifice. So at our level, at personal application level, that all of us who have a tendency to enjoy this world, that tendency, the Hiranyaksha tendency in our heart, can only be killed by Varaha. And what is Varaha? The personification of sacrifices. So what is the sacrifice that we should do? We may not be able to do Agni Hotra sacrifice. We don't have pure ingredients. But the sacrifice that is recommended in the Kali Yuga is sacrifice of your consciousness. What is that? I always want to enjoy. But at least for some time I want to ask Krishna, my dear Krishna, my dear Radharani, can I engage in your service? Can I do something for your pleasure? So this is the Mahamantra that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to us. And when we chant the Mahamantra, it is sacrifice of our consciousness. Why have we been here? We have been here because of the desire to enjoy. But first time this Mahamantra is telling us, can I do something for your pleasure? It's a sacrifice of another commodity that cannot ever be earned again. Money, if you give in donation, you can re-earn it. What is that? Health, if lost, can be also regained. You work out and eat healthy and all that. Time. Time, if gone, cannot be attained. Ayushah kshana ekopi na labhya swarna koti bhi. So in Sankirtan Yagya, what are we offering? We are offering the most purest commodity, the Chetana, Chit, Shakti of the Lord. The consciousness, what can be more pure than our consciousness? That consciousness we are offering to Krishna in Nama Japa. Another priceless commodity of Iha Loka. Because the Chitta, the soul is not of the material world, it is of the spiritual world. But we are offering another thing of the material world also, Kala. That time we can use to benefit our body, our mind, etc., etc. But we are saying, I want to use 2 hours of my time for benefiting Krishna. So time cannot be earned again. Most valuable commodity is Chetana. These 2 things we offer in Japa Yagya. So the Hiranyaksha tendency of enjoyment in the heart can be killed by Varaha Deva, who is the personification of all sacrifices. So we can all pray to Lord Varaha Deva that may when we chant the holy names, when we chant in Sankirtan, may the enjoyment tendency go and may we actually offer ourselves with the right intention for your service. Mat karma krit. So thank you very much. I'll beg forgiveness for going a little bit extra, but there was this verse also of the Bhagavatam, and then there was a Varaha Deva appearance day also. Also, this is a formal invitation from the temple side for coming tomorrow for Sri Nityanand Trayodashi in the largest numbers, because tomorrow is the day of hope for anyone who feels we are on the path of Jagai and Madai. So if we feel, Prabhuji, all these stories are very nice, but my story is Jagai Madai story. No hope. Straight, the road is clear, no speed breakers, and on the other side it's a HELL, right? So only one hope, Sri Nityanand Prabhu. So tomorrow please come in large numbers, and here morning there is a class by His Grace Shubh Vilas Prabhu. There's going to be a very nice class. Evening, I think Shamanand Prabhu is speaking. So tomorrow is another day for calling out to the Lord. So maybe chant Sankirtan, maybe request Sri Nityanand Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to dance in our hearts, so that this Hiranyaksha in the heart may be destroyed. Jai Shri Varaha Dev ki Jai, Jai Shri Nityanand Prabhu ki Jai, Jai Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki Jai, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.